Welcome to the Two Fat Guys and Album Podcast, your weekly dive into iconic albums and our search for the modern classics. In this episode, we paint our nails black, we put on the dark mascara, I dye my hair black, and we get into the world of goth. And even though this band that we're going to talk about rejects that label, this is a goth band to me. And the band we're talking about is The Cure, and the album this week is Disintegration. It's the 1989 masterpiece. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more in-depth reviews, discussions about music, no matter what genre. I am Mike Blackburn. I'll be your host and narrator, and with me, as always, is my good friend, the maestro of music, the siren of sound, the doctor of the diminished chord, Brett Huffness. Welcome, maestro.
Bears.
Bear down.
Bears.
Yeah, hopefully this is released before they're eliminated.
Let's hope.
All right. So today we kind of delve into, The Cure.
Yeah.
And this is our first kind of touch.
Are we doing Nuggets?
Well, we can do Nuggets.
Sound like you were skipping Nuggets.
Well.
No, go ahead.
I didn't know you were the narrator.
Well, I just didn't know if it sounded like you were skipping the Nuggets.
Well, we can get there.
Okay, go ahead.
I gave you your chance.
Okay, take two.
I believe our editor doesn't retake anything.
He doesn't.
No. So this is what it's going to be. All right. So this is our first delve into kind of the music of The Cure, and kind of that whole goth, which of course gets me all excited because we have to kind of expound on some genres.
Yes.
But before we get there, we typically do some cleanup at the beginning of each show. So
right.
The last episode was our epic 30th show of the year, where we discussed Led Zeppelin and all things Led Zeppelin. So that was a near perfect show in my view. So what do we have to clean up?
Nothing. No, perfect show. Yeah, perfect podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, I do have a word of the day though.
Yeah, good Lord. All right.
But
I thought the production meeting we killed this segment.
We didn't.
You don't show up early to production meetings. It's just me and the show. All right. Go on. The word of the day.
The word of the day is metonymy.
Go on.
metonymy. Metonymy. A figure of speech in which a concept is referred to by the name of something associated with that thing or concept.
Like Kleenex?
No. That's something else that I didn't look up.
All right.
But that's when a brand name takes over, becomes, takes over all forms of
like
facial tissue.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a different...
Yeah.
That could be next week's word of the day if you like.
Have a nugget.
No, a figure of speech in which a concept is referred to by the name of something associated with that thing or concept. For example, suits refers to businessmen. Like the suits.
Yep. Here comes the suits.
Here come the suits, right.
You don't say here comes the Kleenex.
Because it's different.
Yeah.
Or Pentagon as a description of U.S. military leadership, the Pentagon. Right.
Got it.
That's a metonymy. Similar to a metaphor.
Probably not, but go on.
Metaphor substitutes the name by analogy rather than association.
Why are you teaching us this word?
It's going to come up later in the show.
Okay.
And when I throw out a really big word, I don't want you to look perplexed.
Sure.
So metonymy's the word of the day. Did you know our good friend Pete Townsend, who always says interesting things?
He does, and he doesn't like playlists.
He doesn't like playlists for one. He recently declared there are only two. Since we're talking about genre and we've done this, we've talked about classic rock quite a bit.
Yeah.
Pete Townsend says there are actually only 2 classic rock bands. There are no classic rock begins and ends with 2 bands. Guess who one of the bands is?
I'm going to go with The Who.
The Who is one of
the greatest
2
rock
classic,
band of all time.
Not. And the Rolling Stones. Pete Townsend considers The Who and the Rolling Stones the only 2 actual classic rock bands, and everything else is something different. Not better or worse, just not classic rock.
Did he say what they were?
What do you mean? He just said something else. Rock or whatever, but The Who and the Stones apparently started rock music.
And finished it.
And then from that moment on, it was something else.
Fascinating.
I think most people are just stunned by the statement and didn't have a follow-up question, such as yours.
Did you?
Well,
Being
no,
that
I
we're
think
media.
no, I think the answer is just it's something else, just not classic rock. The only true classic rock bands, according to Pete Townsend, The Who and the Stones.
So I had argued in a 45 that they were probably the 2, greatest rock bands that really epitomized all of the criteria that make up a rock band.
Right, you're
But
forgetting
wouldn't
Led
say that-
Zeppelin.
I wouldn't say that they're the only ones, because there is, there's a lot of bands. Led Zeppelin didn't have the longevity that would really qualify as the greatest, but they did have.
Well, I think what he would say to that is Led Zeppelin came later, and the Beatles came earlier, and they were in the sweet spot of the creation of. I think I'm just saying Pete Townsend's argument
So
here.
only bands that existed before Woodstock and after the Beatles could be considered. But when were the Stones founded? I mean, that had to be
Earlier, 64-ish, 63,
So that
64
had to be almost contemporaries of the Beatles.
slightly after the Beatles. I mean, I think the Beatles came first, but then again, you go with the argument, the Beatles were pop music and not really rock. I mean,
No,
that would be your standard argument. I think that's what Pete Townsend would say, is that the Beatles weren't really
I'm just trying
a
to
rock
fit
band.
like a time frame around that.
Yeah, right. No,
right.
and you're right. They are more or less contemporaneous. Yeah. But you keep conveniently leaving out Led Zeppelin in your discussion of the 3 bands, which is going to be released any day now, probably.
I'm sure it's already out.
Yeah.
Well, I think as we discussed during that lengthy 45,
Yes.
that Led Zeppelin just simply didn't have the longevity to qualify as the greatest.
Right. That's your opinion.
That was the
fact that
the criteria of the show that we did.
No,
that was one of the criteria.
Was one of like 20 criteria. The fact that they have like a 25 times platinum album.
You should go back and
has
listen to
nothing
the show.
I would as soon as it's released.
Okay.
Be on the lookout for that. It's
Yeah,
quite.
I'm sure it's out.
quite good.
I'm sure it's out.
And probably I would have expected by now, after that episode, you would have stopped declaring The Who as the greatest rock band of all time, because I think it was proven beyond a doubt.
Again, you have to listen to the show, because I believe the final words in that was that The Who was the greatest rock band. And
I think that's
the show, it hit all the criteria.
I think that's because you had the final words.
That. We have.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay. So that leads us into the genre, some
Yes.
more specific genre of what we're talking about today.
Right.
And it's goth music, right?
It is goth.
So I got, I was having this discussion with a friend who also knows quite a bit about music.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough to have his own podcast, but quite a bit about his own music.
Sure.
And he argued that, goth is not a music genre. Goth is it's a lifestyle.
Right.
It's sort of the similar to the argument that classic rock is just a radio
Format. Right.
That goth is actually a lifestyle,
And doesn't-
and that people who are goth listen to similar music,
Uh-huh.
but it's not goth music. And I actually think this is the point that the Cure was, Robert Smith with the Cure
Well,
was trying to make.
and I would tend to agree with your friend. I think when in the Cure is a band that was around when, we were growing up, part of our formative days of music, I would say.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So
absolutely.
we were there at the time, and certainly in the time, I had never heard them described as goth ever. Now, I knew they had the makeup and they looked a little different.
Right,
they had a distinctive look, but I had never ever once heard of them at the time being described of as goth, and didn't actually hear the word goth probably till 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, so we would have called those bands, and there would be it was a bigger catchpot.
Yeah.
But we would have called that like new wave.
New wave is what I would have always called it.
Right, and so a lot of the neo-punk bands and
Yes.
there's a lot that kind of fit into that category.
Right. And for me, I like new wave. I like the idea. I like the larger categories because they're, first of all, they're less
Simpler for your mind.
No, they're just less constrictive. And I think a lot of times bands don't, like The Cure considered themselves a pop band. That's all they really wanted to be, was a pop band. You know, and they had a distinctive style and a distinctive look, and they were different, which is why they were why they're in the Hall of Fame. You know, I mean, they started something. They were right at the front of a movement in music, but at the time they were just doing them.
So, no, I get it.
Yeah.
And something new comes along, it doesn't have necessarily a label.
Right.
Or it gets lumped in with whatever's going around. And then as it develops out, it may be other bands are similar or copy.
They sort of get grouped together.
They get a new bunching. So
Right.
you have a sub kind of category that kind of goes. And I would say,
And a lot of times
new wave, there is that whole pop punk. There is punk, punk.
Sometimes
revival.
it's been referred to as alternative dance music, like as
Yeah.
opposed to disco or whatever. Like the music oftentimes was danceable,
Sure.
but it wasn't.
So I think now we have.
It wasn't really top 40 music.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure some of these songs were. So I think now we have a better kind of grouping on that new wave pop punk.
Right.
That would be The Cure and like Joy Division and Depeche Mode.
Right.
Depeche
So
Mode
you're
would
looking
fit
at
into that.
Bauhaus, Susie and the Banshees. And I think in an
So
earlier
Bauhaus
show,
always gets kind of credited with that
with the beginning of the style.
because they had whatever Bela Lugosi is dead or
Yes,
something.
right.
Whatever that.
I
song
think that
yeah.
was considered the first goth song was
Right.
Bauhaus.
And then
And Susie and the Banshees.
Susie and the Banshees has kind of embraced the goth kind of label.
Sure.
And they played a lot with The Cure.
Sure.
They opened a lot for The Cure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, they do fit musically in a style. And so, again, I do understand
so
the desire to find comparisons.
Right. He would use the term Gothic Rock. And when I think of Gothic Rock, I don't know that The Cure would be the first band that would pop into my head.
What would be
you
the
heard that term,
Gothic Rock?
Gothic Rock.
Well, I don't know. What would you think of?
I mean, I think Zeppelin had that, like, was
Well, that's more. So you're thinking like they have that medieval
Right,
influence,
yeah.
or that of.
Gothic would be more medieval, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Goth kind of is this.
Well, goth became right. If you're thinking gothic in an art style, you're thinking of the
Gothic
the
cathedrals.
1200s,
Yeah,
12
yeah,
the 1300s,
So-
right around there.
Would
So
Jethro
right. it's-
Tull?
I don't. This is so weird that you're the one that's stretching the box out a little bit here.
Well, I think Gothic Rock is an interesting term. I never really gave much credence to it, but as we start kind of looking at, saying, okay, if goth is a lifestyle or a culture,
I would say from
then-
from the musical side of things, and music, and you have a visual arts background,
Mhm.
right? And I have a musical background, and certainly those over the centuries, those things crisscross and influence each other.
Sure.
Right. So what you refer to the Gothic era, and again, we're talking about like the Notre Dame Cathedral, or that sort of time period.
You're flying buttresses.
Yeah, you're flying buttresses, and you're
spires and
what are those things that gargoyles? That's the word I'm searching for. Yeah, those things. So in the musical world, there weren't. You were listening to church. This was church music still. You were listening to medieval music.
And fugue and
no, that's later. That's Baroque. So this is earlier. This is when you think of almost chants or
Gregorian.
Yeah, which are, again, I'm sandwiching. We're making a sandwich here. The reason is I couldn't say a name and you wouldn't recognize it. We're talking about like Palestrina here. We're talking about when you hear like these gorgeous, ethereal church vocal type things that are, they're beautiful and they're magical.
So
but that is the time. And then you also have, just to back up, you have madrigals, which, right? And that's when
Jethro
you think
Tull had
that's
madrigals.
well, that's what I'm getting at is when then you go back to the music of the people. Right, so you had the church influenced music, the religious influenced music, and then you had the traveling minstrels and things like that, and those are your madrigals and your songs. And so when you're thinking of that time period and you're thinking of that type of music, Led Zeppelin or Jethro Tull, so that is the era, that is the time that coincides with Gothic art.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you used an interesting term there, which was that ethereal.
Ethereal, yeah.
Which is fascinating because the band we're going to talk about on side 3, which tied a lot to, it'll be an interesting discussion because I think, they are a good complement.
They're similar.
The Cure,
Some would say similar.
We'll see what you have to say about that.
Okay.
But they are classified in what's called Darkwave.
Yes.
Which is a very ethereal type of
and that's
music.
So since you mentioned goth rock, and then so I don't know if you want to get into the Coldwave, Darkwave thing, because that's really what I looked at. Like we have goth, you have Bauhaus, Susie and the Banshees, The Cure. So some bullet points for goth, if I may. If you want to delve into this Coldwave, Darkwave thing, because TRAITRS is the band we're speaking of on side 3, and
which I love, by the way.
And they're very similar to The Cure, and the description I actually saw was if you took Joy Division and The Cure and put them together, because according to them, Joy Division is something different anyways. So you get to this Coldwave, Darkwave thing. So you are the genie of genre here. So I'll defer to you on this.
So I was going to end this conversation with just a couple of brackets so that at least we're using the same terminology.
Okay.
And The Cure I was going to leave in that new wave pop punk category.
Right.
And that is sort of those early 80s bands.
Yes.
The Cure, Joy Division, Depeche Mode.
Yes.
Okay. Then there's the post-punk revival came later.
All right.
Which again, TRAITRS kind of piggyback on, they built on, but they're not really in that category. So that post-punk kind of that post-punk revival came around in the 2000s, and you're talking about bands like The Strokes or Arctic Monkeys, or a really,
which I don't really hear.
It's okay.
As
and there's an
extension of goth.
No, but they're
I hear them as post-punk, but
right. There's just terminology that I want, so we're talking the same.
Gotcha.
So that was the early 2000s, and the last band to kind of throw into that, which I think is a much overlooked band, is the Raincoats.
Not familiar.
Fairy Tales in a Supermarket. Phenomenal.
All right.
And then after that came the modern revival of kind of this post-punk kind of era. and you have like Fontaine's DC and Black Country kind of falls into that, and then comes this dark wave.
Okay.
Which you get like Sisters of Mercy.
All right.
And the black tape for a blue girl.
I'm not familiar with.
And this has been described. I thought you would enjoy this because it's been described as dark cabaret.
I mean, I might like them a lot. I just don't know them.
And so it's very that ethereal, and that's where the Traitors kind of sit in.
Okay.
So it all is kind of an evolution from the...
I feel like this is where my eyes roll up in my head. Like when we get into these subgenres and these subcategories that there are really only 5 bands that,
So the only 2 bands make up classic rock, yeah.
Well, that's so you and Pete Townsend, you totally agree.
But
so they do. They lose me here. Now, I do think from like a theory standpoint, like if you want to like study these genres and you can actually say, why is this different from this? Like what instruments are different or what sounds are different? So for example, a couple bullet points really quick. It's Darkwave. And I just have German music primarily, mid to late 80s. Term was not really used until the 90s. And again, a lot of these genres, even when you talk about punk or what was heavy metal, any of these musical terms tend to come after the fact. They tend to be coined by music.
I don't know if you're familiar with how history works, but that is how that works.
It's right. So a lot of these terms, when we were listening to The Cure and didn't call it goth, that's because it just hadn't been
it hadn't been
named yet. So by somebody. Okay, so Darkwave, synth heavy, lush, atmospheric,
ethereal.
Well, no, not according to my thing. Well, maybe it is.
Yeah.
But then I have, say, guitars it's drum machines and sequencers. Oh, you're correct. Vocals often ethereal, operatic, or deep and spoken. Polished production, melancholy moods. In quotes, goth, but electronic. Electronic goth. That's Darkwave. And then you have Coldwave, French and Belgian. Also back to the early 80s, probably predated Darkwave. Minimal and Icy Stark, heavy use of synths and drum machines. Guitars, just a little bit of guitar or completely absent. Detached monotone vocals. Production lo-fi. Bleak mood, alienation, existential dread.
Yeah, all right.
Well, that's how I feel when you talk about it. It's like these things are so similar that it's almost ridiculous to get into these subcategories.
So that's not at all what I'm fascinated by. I'm fascinated on how bands come along and they pick pieces and they build on what exists they build something new.
Of course.
And I would say, like, the Beatles did that many times to themselves.
Which is why they're just one of the...
Absolutely. But they, the last Beatles album sounded nothing like the first.
Right.
Beatles.
There's an evolution.
Correct.
And you're talking about the evolution of music through these...
Yes, through these different bands.
Which I completely agree with. Like, I
just think that's cool. I'm not, like, trying to make your eyes roll or go into the weeds with all this or put anybody in a box. I think it's fascinating. It's fascinating how bands build and where they get their
influence.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's all this
right.
is.
And I like the influence. I love the influence. Who did these bands listen to? Who inspired them? What did they borrow? Like, influence is great. It's the labels that annoy me.
It's hard to...
So that's what I find...
Oy.
Interest, yeah. So I'm all about influence for sure. But at any rate, today for The Cure it is goth, and then later on for Traitors it is Darkwave,
which is
completely different. Two completely different things.
Not at all. One is just building on the other, and one of these days you might figure that out.
Probably.
And
not.
With that, let's drop the needle on side one.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rock. In the red corner, an album that needs no introduction. Hailing from Crawley, England, this shimmering monument of melancholy turned heartbreak into high art, ranked 116th overall, and hailed as the #1 goth rock album by Rolling Stone. It went double platinum and climbed to number 12 on the UK charts and number 12 in the US. Recorded in 1989 by Hall of Fame post-punk pioneers, The Cure. This is Disintegration. And in the blue corner, two fat guys.
This is Two Fat Guys and an album.
Welcome to Side 1, where we talk about the band and the album. We're going to talk about The Cure, Disintegration. And first thing we normally do in this side is we discuss the band.
I have a nugget.
That's the opening?
No, I just realized I have a nugget.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably our 1-year anniversary of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're right there.
Yeah. So are we in season 2 now, or is it just one?
Yeah.
Endless.
I think we're just
One endless string of shows.
If you want to do, year 2, episode 1 or whatever.
Okay. It just struck me that I think this is...
Book 2, episode 1?
Book 2, episode 1. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll have a production meeting about it.
You won't show up again.
But congratulations on a full year of podcasting.
Boom. Although it was kind of a challenge today setting up.
It was.
Yeah, we don't. So we had I thought you were going to lead with, when we talked initially about personnel, kind of.
Yes.
Could have mentioned that The Cure is in the news because of a passing.
Yes, Perry Bamonte.
Who actually didn't play on this album.
He was not on this album, but he was a major member of the band afterwards.
Yeah.
And guitarist, keyboard player.
Simon
Gallup.
Down, right?
Say that again?
He's the one who left that made the opening for Perry, right?
Perhaps. Pearl Thompson was the previous guitar. Pearl Thompson was a Pearl, was a previous guitar keyboard player. Right. As you know, we'll talk about with this album, it was Disintegration pretty much describes the state of the band at the time. Yeah. And so so Perry Bamonte, he was he was working with the band. He was like the guitar tech and the road manager. He was part of the band at this time, just not as a performer. Mm-hmm. He was behind the scenes with it. And so anyways, yes, he did recently pass away. He did play on major hits like Friday I'm in Love and Letter to Elise. So he was a big part of the band, and he was part of the recent touring band from 22 to 24. Yep. So happy trails, Perry Bamonte.
It's a band I've never seen.
No, and I haven't either. Interestingly enough, and I think I had this. So I like The Cure quite a bit. I've always liked The Cure quite a bit, but I always had this image of them as being a bunch of guys behind keyboards, and I know I'm completely wrong, but they didn't seem like
the era.
Yeah, and they had that sort of sound that was so kind of electronic and a lot of effects that I didn't imagine that they would be interesting in concert. I kind of thought there would just be some people standing on stage, like hitting a button and 40 sounds would happen. Right. Turns out I was completely wrong about that, and probably would have liked to have seen them. I've talked to many people who have seen The Cure, and
they were in Chicago last summer.
Very recently, yeah. Okay. So that was a swing and a miss for me on The Cure. I completely misunderstood what the live show would have been like.
All right. Well, who was in the band at the time?
Robert Smith is the lead singer and the head writer and pretty much the leader of the band. Simon Gallup, the bassist. Pearl Thompson, guitar keyboard player. Boris Williams on drums, and then Lal Tallhorst was on keyboards, and he left the band either on his own or was kicked out the door during the recording sessions. So
he's only listed as other instruments.
So he was there, but
slamming door
sent on his way. Yep. They are a Hall of Fame band, The Cure, and they are Rolling Stone's 38th greatest band.
So do you know which of these members were inducted as part of the Hall of Fame?
Well, I think all of them. I think. Well, I don't know if Lal was. I was honestly going to look that up and didn't get to. I would imagine everybody that was on this, Robert Smith, Simon Gallup, Pearl Thompson, Boris Williams, were all, kind of founding members of this band. And then Perry Belmonte, as we said, was also inducted. I don't know about Lal Tallhorst. I would assume he was, because I think he was. Disintegration isn't their first album.
It's like their eighth
album, right?
Yeah.
So I would think anybody that was a major player for them is in the Hall.
So it's hard to talk about this band without talking about Robert Smith. A very distinctive voice.
Yep.
Amazing range.
Yeah.
What he can do, and I remember hearing him. We were probably in high school or something. I remember hearing the song and just being like blown away by
just I think he has a really unique.
He does
sound. I think The Cure has a really unique sound.
Yeah, they were very different from anything that was out there that I was familiar with. Anyways.
Definitely. And yeah, I mean, we're going to get to the songs, on this particular album, but I just like The Cure. I think they're really interesting because they're moody and melancholy and yes, goth with their makeup and everything. Yeah. But again, they're a lot of their songs are just sort of poppy. Some of them are actually upbeat and happy.
Wasn't that the criticism of this album? I mean, this album did not get...
That this album was a little dark? Or
no, it was too upbeat.
It was too upbeat, right. It
was like love songs and happy topics.
Right, and it did change the style of the band a little bit. It did become a little bit more upbeat and happier, and then the following albums even more so. Yeah. And
so this actually... I looked at some of the reviews, and it was very middle of the packy kind of numbers, like 3 out of 5,
right?
3.5 out of 5.
I suppose this was their sellout album in the eyes of the critics, perhaps.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean that's everybody. That's Rolling Stone. It's and I have to say that
back in the day, because right now Rolling Stones has it as the 116th greatest album of all time. Right.
Yeah. I know this album gets a lot of attention and love and all that. I struggle with it. I dragged my feet on even doing this show because this album drives me a little nuts.
Well, do you want to talk about the songs to get why it drives you nuts?
No, well, I think it is kind of there's some samey things. I think this is like a 3-song album that tortures you with 12 songs in a long time.
So I'm not going to disagree entirely, okay? But just a little bit more big picture on the album. It was The Cure's best-selling record. It was their 8th record, as you said. It is moody and dark at times. Probably inspired by Robert Smith turning 30. It was his 30th birthday at this time. There were internal tensions in the band, as referenced. Yeah. And I'm not sure things were going great with his wife at the time. Not sure about that. But the band
one of them was a love song to her.
Yes. And I could be wrong. Maybe he had sorry, I didn't write that one down. But he definitely had a lot of internal, there was a lot of tension going on. Yeah. There was a lot of things happening.
Very reflective.
So it was it is The Cure's best-selling record and a Rolling Stone 116. So it is a legitimate top album. We can talk more about that later.
So much like you know, we've had some just phenomenal albums on here that you struggled with.
Yeah.
That wasn't your thing.
Right.
Whatever. I struggled with this, and it's not my. It's not my cure.
I like the album. I think when we get into the songs, we'll talk about the songs that I like that are good songs. The Cure for me as a whole, although they're a band that I really love, I think they're a really top-heavy band. I think their really good songs are great. Like, I love their songs that get regular play. But as you get to the B-sides and the deeper tracks, I also don't care for them that much. And when I bought this record, because this was in the era of I bought the CD for this.
Me too.
And played it, and I did have that feel. Like at the time when I got it, I had the exact same thought. Like, oh, this has all these great songs on it, and then there's less great songs on it. There's like
then there's the other side of the album.
And then yeah. So
that's really what it felt to me. And this is not just this album, but they seem like they're like a 4 or 5 song one side album.
Yeah.
And then they got to make songs for the other side. And they take some of his poems or whatever and try and put music to them and shove them in.
Yeah,
and
no, I completely agree.
And that to me is every Cure album. So, like a best of or a concert would be phenomenal. I don't want to
because
hear...
they do have 12 or 15 phenomenal albums.
Songs
or songs rather. Yes,
yep.
But I mean, when you were talking about The Cure is I guess we're going to talk about this later. But I mean, they're a landmark band, and you have to, if we're going to talk about The Cure, you have to talk about an album because we don't do best ofs. We don't do we don't do those. So
that's
then
the policy of the show.
That's the show's policy. So then we're
show up for production meeting.
Yeah. So then we're
right. Just one. That's all I'm asking. So yes. So why don't we do
yeah? Because there's
songs.
some big hits on this album.
There are, and this is what always kills me about this thing. And I mean, I just drag my feet upon this because we get to like 7 and I'm done. Like, let's move on.
Well, the first song,
I don't think I would ever turn this album over. This would have been like a completely worn out side 1 of an LP.
I'm not sure where the side 2 happens.
No, I don't either. I was just going by numerical.
So Plain Song's the opener.
Yep, awesome.
I like it as an opener. I like that it has the opener feel. I like when albums
Do you have
have
time. Like how long?
I didn't write them down. I know some of the songs are like 7 minutes long. There are some very long songs, and a lot of these songs have large instrumental introductions to them, which make them again great, like alternative dance songs, right?
No,
like,
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
So from and they make great like beds for videos and things like that.
Right,
they're cinematic.
Good soundtrack to music. Yeah, Chauncey, if you're listening, you got some.
No, this.
And I apologize to Chauncey ahead of time because he has to listen to the album to do the editing.
Oh, he won't mind listening to the album.
Yes,
it's not that. It's
the B-side dude. Sorry, man.
But like you said, he may pull out.
Give you a Christmas bonus for this.
There's tons. Are you going to double his pay for this one?
Yeah.
There's tons of music in here that fits nicely behind its background type music, to something happening visually.
So plain song.
So Plain Song, kind of the opener.
Very much like.
Pictures of You, one of my favorite songs.
Yes.
Love this song.
Get 7 minutes.
7 minutes, right? And again, it has a really large,
almost 7.5.
A lot of instrumentalness to it.
So it's the topic, the song is fine. To your point, and I really hadn't kind of tied all this together, but as a dance song, it'd be great. Club song,
right,
be fantastic because it is 7 minutes. You can get your groove on.
Yeah, right.
But the message of the song was done in like 4 lines.
Right.
But
sure.
No, I get it. I struggle with all these. Go
I
on.
don't know. I
Picture
think
You's a great song.
great song. I think the entire song's good. If you're just getting to the 4 lines, I don't know. But it was a UK 24. Rolling Stone has it as the 377th best song.
Stop. So UK 4?
24.
24.
Yeah.
Was it the whole? So
You're right.
we come from
You're
a-
asking if it had a radio
we come
cut?
we come from the radio era where nothing
Right.
was. I mean,
No, I'm assuming it had a radio cut. I don't know for a
so
fact.
It was like a 3-minute.
But
radio
again,
cut.
this might get played on those album rock stations that
Absolutely
weren't in a hurry
100%.
to just play
Some
3-minute
guys go to
songs.
bathroom, throw on a Cure song.
You just
DJ
said
can
you
go to the
like the
bathroom.
song.
I
Can
do,
you
I
save
do.
your file
Sorry,
for
sorry.
some of the worst songs?
Yeah, right.
So the song actually has a great story behind it. It's kind of a depressing great story, but how there was a fire in Robert Smith's home, and he was going through the remains and found pictures of his wife, Mary, and the cover of the single is actually one of the pictures. But it was sort of a nostalgic look at pictures.
Yeah, pictures of you. Yeah, awesome.
Oh boy.
Good. No, it's a good song.
Okay, Close Down. Not one of my favorites.
No.
Okay,
4 minutes, Skipper.
Love Song. Big fan
Very
of
good
Love Song.
Yes.
I love
So
song.
imagine what you can accomplish in 3.5 minutes. Way to go, Cure.
What is wrong with
I
you?
hate the second side of
Can
this.
we talk? We're not talking about the
I
second
know.
side.
It's looming. It's looming. But it's the
wait a
point
minute.
is-
Can we just stop with the 7-minute thing? Because now we have to go back and talk about Meatloaf, or we have to talk about Stairway to Heaven.
Well, that's
or
a good
something
use
like
of 7 minutes.
that.
Yeah. No, go ahead. It's just
Okay, so Love Song, really wonderful. A favorite off the album. A
Yep,
US 2,
agreed.
a UK 18.
Great
Simple and upbeat, as you said. Like one of those songs that is a departure from the previous mood that the people that like to put things in boxes didn't approve of, apparently. But is a wonderful, great song. And he just talked. One of the things he said is it's an open show of emotion. It wasn't trying to be clever. It's taken me 10 years as a human being to reach the point where I feel comfortable singing a very straightforward love song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And it is. So how many singles were on this?
I
Were there 3?
I have 4.
Okay.
Yeah, Pictures of You.
Yep.
Love Song.
Yep.
Okay, the next song on this is Last Dance.
Yep.
Skip for Me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lullaby.
Lullaby. Great song.
Yep.
Love it. It's a favorite. That was a UK 5.
Yeah, it should be.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this is where Metonymy comes in.
Okay.
Yeah. So the song, like, do you have any thoughts of the song? Like, does the song give you, like, because I had never really considered what this song was about until doing the show.
No, I'm not sure where you're going.
Well, okay. So, Lullaby, a creepy nursery rhyme turned nightmare. Smith has said it came from memories of his father's odd lullabies. It's cinematic and claustrophobic, and it serves as possibly a metonymy for addiction, depression, or abuse. Because his father was kind of an abusive, weird dude. And so when he sings this lullaby song, it's a symbol of his father. You know, so we talked about how using the word suits means something, you know, it means a different
So is
thing.
he referring to his father as a lullaby?
He's referring to his father who used to sing him weird, creepy lullabies at night. And
That's
so
when lullabies are sung. Go on.
But
Go
it's
on.
not the time of day that is the issue. It is the and I wasn't there for them, and he didn't say what the exact.
I'm trying to use your word of the day, trying to tie your word of the day. So what word? What is it? The
Okay.
word lullaby
The word lullaby
is the
to Robert Smith
is the metonymy.
is
or
a
what-
metonymy, and it is symbolic of all these bad things.
Gotcha.
So lullaby is a symbol for addiction and depression and abuse because his father would sing him weird lullabies. Great. I didn't make it up.
No,
Oh no!
You know, it
just
takes
trying
a
to get
moment
the
to wrap
connection.
your head
No,
around
I had
the
to
whole
think
thing.
about it. I understand.
Sure.
It's not immediately obvious, especially if it's a word of the day and you've never really come across it before. But yeah, UK5, terrific song. Again, a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
And then the next song, Fascination Street. So you asked if it was a single, and we've talked about this before, where you have rules but won't say what the rules are.
Subject to change.
Yes. So it was a U.S. modern rock #1. You know, and so...
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it wasn't on, like, the main charts, but it was a #1 in modern rock.
So it was released as a single.
Yes.
That's what I was asking.
Yes.
How many songs were released?
Yes.
So there's 4.
And it's a favorite of
What I
mine, and it's
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love this song. It's
Yeah.
a darker, relentless groove, kind of based on their trip to New Orleans, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, a band adventure in New Orleans is how they termed it.
New Orleans is always an adventure.
Yeah,
Band
fascinating
or not?
place.
No band. Yes. All right.
Yeah, and that's kind of where my interest ends as well.
And it appears to be with them as well, because the next 5 songs are can be brutal, including one they didn't even bother titling. So
Right. But that's on the
They got-
expanded release, which you usually don't pay attention
they got
to
bored even
anyways.
so much they
So
didn't.
the one that I would point out is Disintegration, which is the title
song.
track.
Yeah.
And
doesn't do anything for it.
it's, you know, people, not me, not my words, but, you know, in researching the album, it's been said to be a sprawling confessional, and arguably the album's emotional core. Obsession, self-loathing, the sense of breaking apart. So I don't know that this song was a throwaway song for the album, especially being the title track. But
Yeah,
admittedly not a favorite of mine.
No, they could work on the music then.
Yeah.
All right. Or just leave it as a poem on the album cover and move on. All right. Like I said, I greatly struggled with this, dragged my feet on even doing this show because I had to listen to this album again. But yes, there are 4 or 5 really good songs,
Yes.
and then just a bunch of gobbledygook.
Yeah, but you've made me listen to albums like that before.
I get it.
And
yes.
you-
Yes, I have.
So I don't know why you're so appalled by it.
I'm not. I'm just. This just wasn't my.
So I
jam,
picked it
man.
as I believe it's representative of The Cure.
It is.
And I believe it's
It is.
and it's the very highly ranked album. It was very commercially successful, and so this is representative of Cure and the Goth period, really, and major players. And having said that, I agree with everything that you said.
Yeah. So landmark album.
Yeah, it's a landmark album. It's a landmark of again the Cure, a landmark band, undeniably
100%, no.
a landmark Hall of Fame band. This is, I believe, their landmark album, and it's considered the culmination of the Cure's 80s work. It's a major influence on goth and shoegaze and dream pop and
Dream
alternative
pop, sure,
rock
absolutely.
and all that.
Yeah.
Bands such as Interpol, My Bloody Valentine, Churches, Pale Waves. The Cure.
Yeah.
It's a
seminal
landmark band. So
absolutely.
So despite the fact that it has, for me, 4 favorites, you can throw in Plain Song if you like.
I'd say 5.
And then the rest, don't need it. It's it is representative of a landmark band.
All right. Can we close with a confession?
Sure.
In high school, I really wanted Robert Smith to actually be in the band The Smiths and Morrissey to be in the band
It's very
The Cure,
confusing. I was
because
confused by
totally
that also.
confused. You said Robert Smith. I said, oh, it's from the Smiths.
Guy from The Smiths.
No, that's Morrissey. Well, who's the guy? Who's Robert Smith? He's from The Cure. Didn't make any
It's
sense.
like a who's on first, what's on
It
second
was.
moment.
It was. I really wanted
Yeah.
them to switch bands,
Oh, really
which
quick.
is funny because they apparently hate each other. On top of it all.
Sure. Why don't? Well, they hate everybody, both of them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness. The Cure, they do have a recent album, Songs of the Lost World, released in 2024, by the way. Just throwing that out.
Yep. I think they were also working on another one.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's end it there, and we now have a live read.
Oh, live read time. Two Fat Guys in an Album is sponsored by Deeper Connections Counseling, helping people connect to themselves, the people they love, and the world around them through individual and couples therapy for Illinois residents both in person and online. More information at dcctherapy.com.
You know, we all need people to talk to in life. We all have our moments where we struggle with something or feelings or emotions, and we don't get the right, poetry and sing it on stage to get our angst out. Sometimes we just need somebody to talk to. You're worth having those conversations. You're worth finding somebody to talk to. And if you don't have anybody in your life you can turn to have those conversations, or if it's a problem that you just seems deeper or harder to get at, find somebody to talk to. If you're in Illinois, these are phenomenal people to work with and talk to, and I appreciate them being a sponsor of us. If you're outside of the state, you can go find somebody else to talk to because you are definitely worth it. So we got a couple more messages.
Hey, Two Fat Guys in an Album fans. This is Diane Blackburn, realtor with Baird & Warner and proud sponsor of this podcast. I pride myself in being committed to serve as a trusted real estate advisor for all my clients. Whether you're looking to sell, buy, rent, or lease, feel free to reach out and let's chat about how we can work together to make it happen. If you're watching, scan the QR code for my website or give me a call at 630-638-1999. See you on the flip side.
Are you someone who needs help with their Instagram or TikTok? Well, you're in luck. LR Media is here to help. Email me at laurarose2003@aol.com to get started. Let's make your social media shine.
Welcome to Side 2, where we talk about kind of things that are happening, what's going on is kind of where we kind of classify things. And I will let the maestro have the first go, because he probably are going to touch on a few things I was going to talk about. So
Okay. Well,
Fire away.
first of all, it's actually been a while since we've recorded. So we have about a month or so of what's going on.
Sure.
Just throwing that out there. Rush is touring with a new drummer.
Yeah.
Anika Nilles,
Yeah.
German drummer. Looks fantastic. She toured with Jeff Beck, so real deal drummer. Playing 4 dates at the United Center in July.
Yeah. How much are those?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. The pre-sale that I had a shot of pre-sale on those, and the price range that they were offering was $300 for 300 level seats. Now I think the pre-sale wasn't offering everything. I think we could have got nosebleeds for like 150, but that was in the door. I think in the door, like the worst seat, side stage or something, $150. What they are now, I have no idea. I haven't looked, but I'm guessing.
I can't do
the
it.
resale. No, not even. And I love Rush, and I actually am. I know a lot of people are unhappy that they're going on without Neil, but I think that Neil wouldn't mind. I don't think.
No, I would do it for a reasonable price, and I'd also want to see the set list.
Pete Townsend, you and Pete Townsend would not get along.
I'm just saying, if there's if they're playing half the songs that I don't know, I'm not interested.
I'm pretty sure. I'm sure they're playing the hits. I wouldn't doubt that at all. So I would go see them with the new drummer, and just not for that much money. So we'll see.
Okay.
We saw the Violent Femmes together.
We did.
We went to see them in Milwaukee, and they played the entire Hollow Ground album and the entire Violent Femmes album.
Yeah.
And great show. Sadly, no Give Me the Car. That was the only song that was left out of the set that I really wanted to hear.
Yeah. No, it was. You get a chance to see the Violent Femmes. They sound phenomenal, and
Yeah, they're just as good, just very energetic, very
Yeah,
entertaining,
absolutely.
and in great voice.
Yep.
So go see the Violent Femmes if you're a fan and they come around to your town. Bad Company, your favorite band to bash for some unknown reason, was inducted into the Hall of Fame recently in L.A. So here's an interesting one. How much do you think a ticket to the Hall of Fame induction is?
$50.
We could have gotten in the door for $200, okay, but the day of the show, there were tickets floating around for $50. We could have gotten in to the Hall of Fame induction
because it was Bad Company. Yeah.
There were other bands.
Pretty much when they play your backyard or whatever else they play nowadays.
Wow.
They're probably
so much,
even less.
So much hatred. There's a really cool tribute album that came out for people that like Bad Company called Can't Get Enough. Includes like all their hits.
Do they play on it?
Here, listen, can you... Actually, they do. That's the interesting thing on it is like they have lead singers, like they have tribute people, but Bad Company is, I think, part of the album. But you had asked, to name songs by them back in the day, and you caught me by a little off guard. But how about this? On the album, Ready for Your Love, Shooting Star, Feel Like Making Love, Rock and Roll Fantasy, Bad Company, Rock Steady, Burning Sky, All Right Now. Those are all terrific songs. And performing on this album, Def Leppard, Paul Rogers, who's lead singer, Blackstone Cherry, Charlie Crockett, Slash, Hailstorm, just among some of the people playing on the Bad Company tribute album. You don't have to like it. I don't.
I'm just sitting here letting you get your Bad Company out.
Yeah. So then we went to see another concert. We saw Everclear.
Yes.
Which one of my favorite bands. I feel really underrated. I just think they're a great 90s band, early 2000s band, and absolutely love this band. I think he's wonderful in concert.
It's amazing he can play a set and like all the songs.
You do. For sure. Mm-hmm. So, and then, so go see Everclear if you can.
But there's more.
Yeah, we saw a band called Local H.
Holy cow.
Which is a two-man punk band from Chicago. Now, were you familiar with them before?
No.
I had never seen them before in my life either.
Completely insane.
They were out of their minds. So believe it or not, this is their 30th anniversary of their debut album. So their 1995 classic, Ham-Fisted, and they re-released it and redid the songs, and it's now called Refisted. But they say this is not just a reissue; it's a defiant do-over. Like they recreated these songs with modern styles and just wisdom of being older and all that. But these two guys came out and lit the stage on fire.
Almost literally.
Yeah.
Yes,
I had said,
a lot of energy.
If I was Everclear, I would have fired them after the second show because they were actually really difficult to follow.
They tore it up. You have to be a band that has an entire set list of hits to be able to have these guys open for you.
Yeah, for sure. And they did.
Yeah.
And the audience, a lot of times you get these lukewarm opening act audiences, but not in this case. The audience was all in on these guys.
Yes, and it's hard not to be. I mean, we didn't know them, and we're all in by.
Oh, we were. I was
like
all
the
in.
third song.
Yeah.
Way before the guy duct taped the microphone to his face. It's a thing. It's a show, man.
So if you have a chance to see Local H, I'm giving them 10 fat guys.
Oh yeah, but
I wasn't in the mood. I wasn't in the mood, and I was still they just will pull you in. If you're having a rough day or something, go see Local Age. They will pick you up.
What else you got?
Mountain Goats.
Yep.
They dropped their new album.
They did.
A fire Through This Fire Across from Peter Balkan. So I don't know if that's one we're gonna review in the future, maybe, or listen to in the future. Have you listened to the whole album yet?
I've not listened to the whole album. I've listened to
so
a
I'm
number
gonna
of songs.
I'm gonna hold my commentary for the
Okay.
future, and I'm just gonna recommend that you listen to it.
Yep. We'll get there.
All right. Let's see. Couple more. I've got a couple more.
All right.
How are we doing? I've got Goose they surprise released another album called Chain Your Dragon, second album of the year, and this album also fantastic. One of the song Madalena is making the rounds now on the radio. It's one of 2 singles off this album that are getting a lot
They've
of play.
taken lessons from King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
I
and
guess.
Just releasing music
And
until someone buys something.
their song, it's a great album.
No, I get. Yep. Sure.
Have you listened to the album?
No.
But you're just going to say something disparaging
I
about it.
didn't say anything disparaging.
I think it was.
Nothing but good for them.
So the thing I actually like about Goose overall is I think their songwriting is really improved, and I think they are creating these radio-friendly songs that catch your attention. But then when you see them live, they will stretch and do the whole
Good
jam
old jam
band
band,
thing.
yeah.
So they're on a hot streak right now. They're on a major streak. All right, here's a fun one. One of our favorite theaters, the Vic, one of our favorite venues to go see a show. Guess who we missed at the Vic recently? We did not go to this show. Robert Plant playing with his band Saving Grace at the Vic.
Yeah, I've been something.
And so he actually has a new album called Saving Grace, and it's of this sort of Americana style.
I've listened to a few songs off.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the tour that we did not even know about somehow.
Right. Yeah.
So Sadness. I would have loved to see him. The Vic, for those not familiar, is a pretty small venue.
Yeah, it would have been interesting.
It would have been great.
Speaking about bands that kind of, or reinventions or whatever, have you listened to the Howl, Owl, Howl?
I don't think I have.
Oh, sure.
Is this new?
Well, it's a newer band, but in the
I have to. What's on yours? What is it?
Howl, Owl, Howl.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Darius Rucker.
Oh, yes. No, he does. Okay.
Mike Mills,
Yes, and
Steve
they
Gorman.
have a new song, and I've heard it, and I like it.
Yeah.
But yes, okay. I'm
So-
with you now.
Yeah, so that I was just curious of your opinions or thoughts on
I heard.
Hootie and the Blowfish becoming Hootie and REM.
Yeah, Hootie.
Black Crows.
Yeah. No, I heard there is one song out.
Yep.
And I like that song, and then I'm definitely going to dive into it further.
Yeah, it was all right.
I
know you're a Hootie guy.
I am a
so that's
Hootie
why
guy.
I thought you'd be all over that.
and an REM guy and a Black
Right,
Crows
yeah,
guy.
Yeah, no, I like.
So,
Correct.
okay.
You're a bigger Hootie guy than I am, but I do like Hootie.
Yeah, so I do like the current song that's floating around by them,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
just
yeah.
didn't
Yep.
follow up. All right, last one. You did not get another concert that you did not get to go see. Bela Fleck at the Salt Shed doing his Jingle All the Way album, mostly is predominantly Christmas show.
How was that?
Phenomenal. Absolutely amazing. Amazing. And they had Jeff Coffin playing saxophone, who's currently like a full member and Hall of Famer with Dave Matthews.
Sure, yeah.
But he was there, and of course Victor Wooten and Future Man were there. Howard Levy, the harmonica player, who's for sure like
Local
the
guy.
greatest local guy and greatest living harmonica player, probably. Sick and could not come to the show, unfortunately, so he wasn't there. But who was there was the Alash Ensemble. So I don't know how familiar you are with this particular Bela Fleck Christmas album.
Not very. No.
Okay, it's first of all live amazing. All right. The Alash Ensemble is a throat singing band from Tuvan, Russia. Throat singing. They create harmonics.
Yeah.
They're like monk things. Right, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
If you had seen this, I know exactly what you're
God.
thinking. I am telling you, if you had seen it live, this is one of those things where, like, okay, I'm not going to go out and buy a throat singing record, but I will go see the Alash ensemble any day of the week. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in person, and it was I can't say enough about it. And it was 3 guys. They were playing on traditional instruments, and they played multiple songs. So they didn't just play one song. You know, the first song is sort of quirky. The first time you hear it, it can be a little off-putting if you're closed-minded, you know, like some people are. And so it can be a little hard to listen to. I get that. But then they played more songs. They played 2 or 3 songs, and then they actually did a set in the middle where it was just them, and one of the songs was even really bluesy sounding. So in the same way that, say, Bela Fleck expands on, say, bluegrass music, if you just want to put it that way, like it's world music. You think it's banjo, you think it's bluegrass, but it's more. The Alash ensemble, same way. They take this throat singing and they expand it out into something bigger and greater. They did this particular song that was bluesy. I'm telling you, the audience was enraptured. By the time, once you get past the initial shock of what you're hearing and your ears get a little accustomed to it, it's amazing. I would go see them any day of the week. My daughter was with me for the show since there was an unused ticket, and she was completely entranced by it as well.
All right, well, that's enough time for throat singing.
Okay.
For one show, we'll have to circle back to that another time.
Yeah.
I got just a couple of quick things that I got to do. One is my wife, who's a huge John Denver fan, as part of our Christmas, we went to see a cover guy.
Okay.
Somebody,
Tribute artist?
Tribute artist. Kind of looked like John Denver, and Rick Schuler was his name. He did a number of songs. He apparently has an original album out as well.
Does he sound like John Denver in the original album?
He has yes. He looks and sounds pretty decent. If you're missing John Denver, it's not a bad.
Was this at the Arcada, by the way?
No, it was at a place in Water Tower Place.
Oh, okay.
It was not a big show. I almost got into a fight in an elevator, but that's a story for
you and your
time.
charming personality.
Yes. So
did somebody press all the buttons?
That was almost. That was interesting. And then I also got to escort my daughter to New York City for the premiere of Wicked for Good.
That had to be pretty cool.
Yeah. So the whole experience of getting out there for a premiere in New York City.
And were the movie stars there? Like the people?
They were, but the schleps weren't allowed all that close to the.
Oh, all right. Okay.
If you stood on the street, you were about as close as if you got into the theater.
Okay.
Multiple theaters, multiple venues to see.
Oh.
So, the schleps weren't really allowed in
all right.
there. But it's still a kind of amazing experience being in New York City for a premiere of a movie.
Yeah, I would think that's incredible.
Yeah. And I sent you a song. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about.
All right.
By a band, Sharp Pins.
You did.
Did you get a chance on the ride over?
Yeah, I listened to it.
What'd you think?
I think that you are in this retro sort of rut where you no longer like new music. Like, I don't understand.
This is a brand new band. So they're touring. We could go see them at Schubert's on Sunday.
Okay, so they're playing 60s psychedelic rock, right?
Yeah,
they're,
the Birds,
so it sounded like the Birds.
Birds. Very much like the Birds.
Exactly. The first thing I heard was the Birds right away, immediately. But more psychedelic than the Birds, I would say. Sure. They had a psychedelic sound to them that is beyond just a copy of the Birds. So they were copying a couple things there. But they are definitely, like, the song that you sent me is definitely a throwback song.
Right.
And so if you want to go see a current band playing old music.
Yeah, that kind of Paisley underground psychedelic poppy kind of thing.
Right.
Pop Fan Out is the song. That's POPFANOUT. Pop
Sure.
Fan Out.
All one word.
All one word.
Yeah.
Sharp pins. I love the song, and I may just go see him without you.
Okay.
All right. So that's all we have. Let's. We got a couple more messages, and we flip this over to side 3. All right, side 3. This is where we continue our search for the modern classics. We look at newer bands, newer albums, some maybe overlooked piece of music or album. Recently, we've been kind of doing complementary albums.
I thought you were going to say copycat, but go on. Yes, complementary albums that have similarials to the main band.
Yeah.
Right. So last year we did feels like last year.
Yeah,
but
probably was.
We did Greta Van Fleet
with Led
Zeppelin.
Yeah.
That would be
which
an
very
example.
similar sounds and
Right.
Lead singer that had a lot of vocal styling similar to Robert Plant.
Right.
And here we are again. So the album we're going to look at is Butcher's Coin Red, in a 2018 album by the band TRAITRS, which I like the album.
Of course you do.
There's several songs on here I think are really kind of great standout tracks to me. I'm getting the sense, though, from the other chair that he does not have the same feelings.
Well, I'm happy to talk about the album. I listened to it quite a bit. Again, we're in this sort of copycat mode. Beyond influence, I think, is where we are. TRAITRS, a Canadian post-punk goth cure copycat band formed in 2015. Sean Tucker, the vocalist, guitars, programs the drums, lyricist, and then Sean Patrick Nolan, synthesizers, also synth programming, guitars, backing vocals. And when they tour live, they may add some musicians to the stage, but the band is really just the two of them. You called it Butcher's Coin Red. The album's actually Butcher's Coin. The red version is just a what do you call it? Like a collectible. Like you could get it on red vinyl or with a red cover art. But the album itself is Butcher's Coin.
Fine.
Yeah. So they do have a new album coming out, and they do have a new song that's already you could listen to now called Burn in Heaven from 2025, very current. One YouTube commenter called it Joy Division with Robert Smith on vocals. So they definitely have that Joy Division Cure sort
Strong
of connection.
Echoes of Robert Smith.
Oh my, copycat. Like if the Cure, if Robert Smith died, they would hire this guy to be.
So Greta Van Fleet, would you say that's the same thing? That he's just a copycat of Robert Plant? Because
I think it's a little more complicated. I think he sounds a lot like Robert Plant. But also, as I mentioned last time, they sound a lot like Rush, the early Rush.
Yeah.
So to me, it's almost an influence of an influence of an influence. They're almost more copying Rush, who was copying, early Rush, who was copying earlier Led Zeppelin. So I do think Greta Van Fleet's a little more accomplished. At least they have a Wikipedia page. So this... I'm happy to talk about the album before I completely they're just, if you like The Cure, you probably like this band. I think the album itself is like an interesting concept. Like I think they're making an effort. Apparently they were using a condemned funeral home as a practice space.
Sure.
And so
kind of a rehearsal.
yeah. And so I think being in that sort of creepy space inspired them to make this album. A butcher's coin is a small piece of bone the butcher might save in order to receive payment. So it was like a, what do you're doing your butchering, your meat thinging, and then you have a piece of bone to show that you've done your work. Also, possibly a reference to ancient Roman executioners who were paid a small bronze coin for every job they did. And so the coin is a symbol of the monetary value of human life and is a recurring theme in this album. The Tucker has said the record is about how wounds, physical or emotional, get passed from person to person and generation to generation, like sickness in the blood. Sure. The album definitely has, I think, at least the effort of art and the effort of a personal, emotional story to it. And again, the coin, I think that the lyricist thinks of, it's just what is the cost of suffering and who pays. So it's a pretty bleak album. Again, talking about sort of generational abuse and generational psychosis or whatever. But at the end, he does kind of hold out a glimmer of hope for breaking the cycle. So it's, I mean, I think from a thematic background point of view, it's interesting. And it's certainly an effort at making something artistic and interesting.
Okay.
I could not listen to it. I mean, I did. I listened to it a lot. And again, being that we had months to, like a month to prepare the show, like I listened to it intensely at first to sort of get it figured out. And then I listened to it again recently, and it just never caught hold. Like from a musical standpoint, it just never caught hold for me.
So to me, I think there's 4 really good songs on here.
Okay.
Very similar to the Cure album.
Right.
Yeah. If you want to go, I think Thin Flesh, Stuffing Spiders, Window from an Old House, and Daughters Lie in an Empty Field, I think are all keepers for me. I thought were good songs. I do have to say I cracked up on, I found a couple of reviews of the album. So it was a little harder to find reviews of this album. Yeah,
it's hard to find any information on this album, really.
Yeah. Or even on the artists themselves, right? So here's kind of the just really quickly the 3 reviews. Darkwave version of The Cure. Mm-hmm. I like them, but they seem like they really love The Cure a bit too much.
Yes.
So I mean, this guy's voice is very Robert Smith.
Absolutely.
And then the last one I think is just classic. You know, the standout track, Thin Flesh, which
That's actually my like. That's my only like on the album.
I think there's more than that, but so the standout track, Thin Flesh, stirs the kind of revelries one might associate with frenetic youthful mania when everything was beautiful but everything hurt. I can see myself smoking stolen cigarettes and writing sex-obsessed poetry in a marbled notebook at 16 to this just as easily as I can imagine myself deep inside the modern dance trance with it on repeat. Mm-hmm. I think that would pretty much sum it up for me. I think it's a good album, 4 songs to me. You know, again, you want to try it. Thin Flesh would be the song I would recommend, and you can kind of see, you can hear the Cure.
You'll get everything from that one.
You hear the Cure, but it's a good catchy tune. You want to dig a little deeper. Stuffing Spiders, Windows from an Old House, and Daughters Lie in an Empty Field, I think are all very much. And as you get into those last 2 songs, I think they actually, although his voice is still there, musically they step away from the Cure into a little darker space. Yeah. That I found interesting. And I brought up it early on, kind of the raincoats. a band you weren't familiar with.
Right.
But Raincoats, Black Tape for a Blue Girl, I think those bands both are very similar to this without the Robert Smith voice.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's they.
Yeah. So
that's the band.
You know, I don't know if there's any need to go through the other songs on the album, but I think they're.
I think if you're not put off by the extreme similarity to The Cure, and if you might go so far as to like that extreme similarity to The Cure, then you probably like this album. I do have this theory that his enunciation of words maybe is not as good as it could be, and because lyrically it's there is something to this, but no matter how many times I listened to it, I never really got hooked, is all I can say. Never really got hooked.
Well, I would challenge you on the ride home. Listen to Windows from an Old House again. And again, I think it's more, it's where they've started stepping away from The Cure musically.
Right.
Thin Flesh, really good song, but I think it's a really good song because it is The Cure.
Right.
To us, you go, that's just a new Cure song.
Exactly.
But The Cure is coming out with a new album, so
I would say, in this, here's my last one. I want to make sure I get this one in. Yeah. So, you know how you listen to The Cure and there's like 4 really good songs and you love those 4 really good songs and all. This album to me sounds like all The Cure's bad songs. It's like that's what it sounds like. Yeah. There's no hit on this to me. There's nothing that grabs me.
Fair enough.
It's like that's what it sounds like to me.
Fair enough. I think they're an interesting band. So there you go. So that was Butcher's Coin.
Yeah.
2018 by TRAITRS.
Yes.
For some reason, they don't use the.
They're too cool. There's no E. TRAITRS.
Yeah.
All caps, by the way.
Yeah. Give it a try. Again, you're going to give them a listen. Thin Flesh is the song I would recommend. You want to see them doing something where they step a little bit away from The Cure. Try Windows from an Old House. Okay. And with that, let's flip this over one more time. We lack a sponsor, so we'll just keep going live. So
sure.
Now you have to fit this into our... First thing we do is kind of rank the album we have into our list of 31 epic albums.
31 albums.
So where does Disintegration by The Cure masterpiece fit into this list?
Yeah, and again, we're in that sort of situation where... There's favorites. There's a lot of favorites. There's a lot of high-ranking songs. There's actually, Rolling Stone top song by a Rolling, by one of the top bands, by a Hall of Fame band. So it's legit. It's a legitimate landmark album, but it has 4, maybe 5 songs. It's not a perfect album. You always talk about, is this a perfect album? So clearly...
I didn't even ask that question.
Yeah, but not a perfect album. We've already said we had a bunch...
Was it necessary?
Yeah, we've already had a bunch of skips when we talked about it the first time. And it's not really a cohesive album. Sometimes you can get away with a skip or 2 when you have a cohesive sort of concept type album. I have it at 26th out of our list of 31. I have it behind Joshua Tree. I have it ahead of What's the Story, Morning Glory by Oasis. So there it is. Sgt. Pepper, currently the number 1 album overall on my list.
Awesome.
And Moondance, number 2 on my list. So yeah, it has to fit in there somewhere. So it gets extra points for landmarkness, but it loses points for not having enough good songs. Yeah.
Agreed.
So the way you're smirking, I'm guessing it's going at the end of your list, but I don't.
Oh no, there's still an album lower than that.
All right.
Maybe 2.
Okay.
All right. So we'll have to wait for episode 40 when the show actually reveals its list. So this is not me. This is the show.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Have you had that checked?
All right. Well, again, thank you all for listening. Next time, we will be doing one of my all-time favorite albums, which is Excitable Boy by Warren Zevon, which will be interesting to get your take.
Also a newly minted Hall of Famer, I believe.
Yeah, true.
So,
True.
Yes.
Be interesting to get your take on Warren Zevon.
All right.
With that, we'd like to thank our production team from MKE Video.
Yes.
Chauncey there, appreciate all you do. Our PR team from LR Media and our sponsors, Deeper Connection Counseling and Diane Blackburn from Beard and Warner Films. Also, Smitch Films and LR Media, or MKE Video now.
Mm-hmm.
With that, I am Fat Guy 1.
Fat Guy 2.
We'll see you next time.
Dun, 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 dun.
Play me out, boy. Play me out.
All right. If everything looks good to you, everything looks good to me.
Great.
You're going to be like this the whole show.
Perky? I am just your guide. I am your guide, leading our listeners to music and lore. No?
Choose to ignore.
You can't the whole show. You ready?
Putting my papers in order.
The ordering of the papers.
All right, let's do it.